My story began when I unexpectedly awoke to my husband's secret's heartbreaking desires unravel. I will never forget that morning. The air was heavy, thick with unease. I rolled over, expecting to find him beside me, warm, familiar. But the space was cold. Empty. I blinked in the muted light filtering through the curtains, dread creeping in like an unwelcome shadow. I could hear the faint buzzing of my phone, the only sound breaking the eerie silence. With trembling hands, I reached for it. Just a missed call, but the urgency in that single missed heartbeat of a message shook me. Something wasn't right. The deeper I probed, the more questions twisted in my mind. His laughter had always filled our home. Now, it felt almost like a distant echo, haunting me. I heard whispers, the faintest murmurs from friends. Rumors too delicious to ignore. My heart raced. What were they keeping from me? My husband, Liam, had been distant for weeks. A tiny sliver of sadness bloomed in my chest, the kind that makes your throat tighten. Could he really be hiding something? As I pieced together fragments of conversations, peculiar texts started to flash through my mind. Memories so ordinary now seemed tinged with darkness. I thought of Sophie, my closest friend. Her eyes held a flicker of concern whenever she glanced at me. Was she protecting me from something? I could almost hear my pulse quickening with each rapid thought. The lingering warmth of our last dinner together turned bitter as I recalled her nervous laughter, the way she hesitated when I mentioned Liam's name. The air crackled with unsaid words. I could feel it, like the weight of an approaching storm. My heart thudded. I needed to face the truth, but fear paralyzed me. If he was hiding secrets, what could I do? Betrayal tasted acrid on my tongue, a mix of love and dread swirling around. And just as I was ready to strap on my armor to face whatever lay ahead, I received an unexpected knock on the door. An unfamiliar presence loomed. A pit dropped in my stomach. Who was standing there, shrouded in mystery? Did they know the secrets? My heart pounded louder, drowning out every rational thought. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the room, I stood frozen in place, staring at the door. My hand hovered over the knob, a heaviness weighing down each hesitant breath. I felt as if I was trapped in a state of suspended animation, caught between the life I'd known and the chaos that lay just beyond the threshold. Once more, the knock echoed through the silence, firm and undeniable. There was an urgency in it that made my heart race, an instinctual warning that told me to remain still, yet my body seemed to betray me. The urge to know, the need for clarity propelled me forward, and I finally turned the knob. As the door creaked open, the figure before me was utterly unexpected, an elderly woman, her hair silver like moonlight, her expression etched with both weariness and a hint of warmth. Her frail frame appeared smaller than I imagined as she clutched a small bouquet of wildflowers, the vibrant colors stark against her muted attire. "I'm sorry to intrude," she whispered, her voice soft like a gentle breeze. "I live a few doors down. My name is Agnes." She had an aura of kindness that seemed to wrap around me, her presence a strange balm against the embers of turmoil smoldering in my chest. "I noticed you looked troubled, and I brought these to brighten your day," she continued, extending the flowers toward me, her eyes filled with an understanding that felt almost unnerving. "Sometimes it helps to have a bit of beauty close by." I took the flowers, unsure whether it was appropriate to accept such a gesture in the midst of my chaos. But as I inhaled their sweet, natural fragrance, warmth spread through me, if only momentarily. "Thank you, Agnes." They're lovely, I managed to reply, my voice barely above a whisper. Life has a way of throwing us curveballs, she said, her gaze piercing through me as if she understood all too well what was brewing beneath the surface. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm right here, a listening ear without judgment. The sincerity in her words broke down the walls I had instinctively built. I nodded, feeling an inexplicable connection to this stranger who, in her moments of kindness, reminded me of a softer world that still existed outside of my turmoil. But just as I took a breath, ready to delve deeper into conversation, I heard my phone buzz insistently on the kitchen counter, bringing with it the reality of my situation. The weight of uncertainties and whispers flooded back, heavy and suffocating. The moment slipped, like sand through my fingers, and I felt raw and exposed. Liam's earlier cryptic texts replayed in my mind. Had he known about the woman at my door? Did he see the world through different eyes? A world unmarred by secrets and betrayals? I started, but the words caught in my throat, an avalanche of emotion threatening to erupt. Agnes tilted her head, reading the shadows in my expression. Before you go, dear, I sense something is weighing heavily on you. Don't let it smother your spirit. Talk to someone, no matter who they are. Sometimes light can be found in the darkest of corners. Her words reverberated with a truth I craved to absorb, and yet, they only heightened my confusion. As the sun set behind the buildings, an orange glow filled my home, a stark contrast to the encroaching darkness of my thoughts. Is there something you want to know about him? She asked gently, probing deeper, a realization dawning on her face. She must have sensed my uncertainty when it came to Liam, the question swirling like a tempest within me. In that moment, I could have opened my heart, poured out the doubts that gnawed at me. I could have invited her into the storm raging inside. But as soon as I contemplated it, an icy shiver cascaded through me. Had of my secrets, my fears manifested into something irrevocable? I think I just need to figure it out myself, I finally said, even as a part of me wished to reach out for help. Uncertainty flared between us, bittersweet and thick. As a final gesture, Agnes placed a thin, warm hand on my arm, grounding me as if reminding me I was not alone in my turmoil. You are stronger than you think, dear. Just remember, kindness can be a powerful ally in turmoil. Seek the light amidst the shadows. And with that, the weight of her words lingered, almost echoing as she departed. I felt strangely buoyed, even as shadows crept back in, memories and fears waiting in the wings. As I walked back into the house, flowers clustered in my arms, the ache of betrayal returned with a vengeance, reminding me of what I truly faced. My phone buzzed again, this time with a text that stopped my heart. It was from a number I didn't recognize, but the message struck like a lightning bolt. I know what he's been hiding. Meet me tonight. In that moment, all the new hope Agnes had brought, the flicker of kindness, was swallowed whole by the impending tidal wave of uncertainty. The door was open now, a doorway into a darker reality, and I could only wonder what awaited me on the other side. The air in the room grew thick with tension, a stark contrast to the soft floral fragrance of the wildflowers still cradled in my arms. The text loomed before me like a specter, its sinister implications threatening to engulf everything I had managed to cling to. I know what he's been hiding. Meet me tonight. Whose voice was this? What could they possibly know about Liam, or worse, about us? I scrolled back through my messages, staring blankly at the screen as if the answer might emerge from the fabric of my past conversations. Liam's sweet nothings from last week felt like they belonged to another lifetime, yet here I was, standing on the precipice of a truth I didn't want to face. My pulse quickened, an urgent drum pounding against the walls of my mind, the very walls I had so carefully constructed to keep out the darkness. Agnes' words echoed faintly in my ears, soft and soothing against the panic swelling inside me. Seek the light amidst the shadows. But how could I possibly find light when the shadows cast by Liam seemed to stretch endlessly before me? Taking a moment to ground myself, I crushed the stems of the flowers in my hands, the wild sweetness mingling with the sharp sting of anxiety. I remembered Agnes' kindness and wondered if her simple gesture of understanding was meant to prepare me for what I might soon unravel. I could choose to turn away to ignore the text, to retreat into the comforting facade of my ordinary life. But an insatiable curiosity clawed at me, mingled dangerously with fear. What if the revelations could shatter the very foundation of what I thought I knew? Resolutely, I grabbed my phone and stared at the message again, mentally dissecting it. Who would run the risk of contacting me like this? A twinge of anxiety shot through me. Could it be someone from Liam's past? Or perhaps someone who understood the murky waters of his secrets better than I ever could? I looked down at the wildflowers, their vibrant color stark against the dullness of despair that threatened to seep into my heart. There it was, again, a flicker of hope amidst the chaos. What if this meeting promised clarity? A chance to confront whatever shadows haunted us? The clock on the wall ticked steadily, each tick-tock reminding me of time slipping away, urging me to decide. With a deep breath, I fired off a quick response. Where and when? Moments stretched uncomfortably as I awaited a reply. Would this bring me resolution or send me spiraling deeper into the abyss? I leaned against the kitchen counter, trembling slightly as I clung to the thought that I was taking charge of my own fate, however small that action might be. Just as the screen illuminated to signal a new message, a noise behind me startled me into the present. I turned, half expecting to see Agnes standing there once more, offering comfort in a moment of crisis, but it was only the kettle whistling, steam curling trough the air. I poured myself a cup of tea, the soothing liquid comforting against the tension tightening my chest. The weight of uncertainty loomed, yet the warmth that seeped through the ceramic mug was a reminder that if I could weather the storm inside my heart, perhaps I could face whatever awaited me tonight. The message from the unknown number flickered again, demanding my attention. Meet me at the old park by the fountain at 8 p.m. I'll be waiting. I glanced at the clock, realizing I had less than an hour. This would be no simple chat behind the facade of safety. It was a rendezvous arranged in shadows with the potential to expose truths that could alter my reality forever. As I finished my tea, I caught a glimpse of myself in the window's reflection, eyes wide with uncertainty but also flickering with something else, something indefinable. Determination? Fear? Both? Drawing back the curtain a fraction to peer into the world beyond, I wondered what I might find lurking just outside. With every second that passed, a mixture of dread and excitement unfurled within me. Perhaps this was the beginning of reclaiming my narrative, a chance to seize the lease from Liam's grip. Heart racing, I dressed swiftly, choosing my attire carefully, as if armor against the unknown. The city was aglow when I stepped outside, but I felt the shadows cling to me like an unwelcome weight. I approached the park, my heart pounding in rhythm with my footsteps. Street lamps flickered like candles, casting a soft light over the winding path, and I was acutely aware of how every footfall echoed the gravity of what I was unraveling. Arriving at the fountain, I scanned the area, my breath trembling in my throat. The air was thick with anticipation, each rustle of leaves sending a fresh wave of adrenaline coursing through my veins. And then, like a dark cloud materializing out of nowhere, I saw a figure leaning against the fountain, eyes fixed on me, cloaked in shadows. As I drew closer, recognition pierced through the fog of my mind. It was someone I hadn't seen in years. They frowned, a look of empathy mixed with understanding, and I felt my heart lurch in my chest. Could this person really hold the keys to Liam's hidden life? "Thank you for coming," they said, their voice low but intense, almost reverberating. "What I'm about to tell you is not what you want to hear, but it's the truth, and you deserve to know." A tight coil of dread and expectation knotted in my stomach. There was no way to turn back now. As they opened their mouth to speak, everything inside me braced for the worst, teetering perilously on the brink of a revelation that could either bring clarity or tear apart the already fraying seams of my heart. The figures shifted, shadows pooling and ebbing around them like the dark tendrils of a storm ready to unleash chaos. My heart thudded in my chest, each beat a fearful echo in the stillness of the night. The flickering street lamp cast an uncertain light over their face, revealing the familiar features of someone I once cherished. Emily, someone who had been entwined in our lives long ago, her presence tangled with memories that stirred within me like old, half-forgotten ghosts. Emily? The name escaped my lips, laden with disbelief and confusion. What are you doing here? I never wanted you to find out this way. She spoke softly, a tremor in her voice that mirrored my own fragile nerves. The sincerity in her eyes softened the edges of my suspicion, but the dread gnawed at me stubbornly. Liam and we had a history, and it's more complicated than you realized. The bitter laugh threatened to escape, but I swallowed it down, its taste bile stinging in the back of my throat. A history? I repeated, anger bubbling just beneath the surface. What do you mean? Before you and Liam got together we were close. I thought it was over, but there were things we didn't talk about. Things that he took from me and didn't take with you. Her voice trembled, the emotional burden of her words etched into her features like scars. And I never wanted to come back. But there are things he's hiding, and I can't let you walk away without knowing. Ignoring the tempest of hurt welling within me, I gestured for her to continue, the urgency of her presence urging me to listen, despite the sharp edges of betrayal whooshing about in the space between us. Why now? Why reveal this after all this time? Because you deserve better, she breathed, and I could see tears glinting in her eyes. Liam is not who you think he is. He's been lying to you, and I couldn't keep pretending that it didn't affect my conscience, knowing that you might be walking into a future built on his lies. The dark cloud hung over the moment, the thick tension pressing down like a weight I couldn't ignore. My breath quickened, yet I sensed something curiously bright behind the haze of turmoil. Was it the sincerity in Emily's expression, or perhaps the need to uncover the truth that kept pulling me forward? I looked into her eyes, searching for any sign of malice, but found only fragility. Your heart is still open, and I can see the way you still love him, she continued. But love doesn't erase the past. It complicates things. Her voice broke, the remorse glistening in her gaze. You have to know what's at stake, for both of you. What do you mean? The words came out sharp, filled with both hope and dread. She hesitated, her gaze dropping to the concrete beneath our feet, as if the weight of the revelations she had to share were too heavy to bear. Liam wasn't honest about his past with me. He's been knee-deep in things you wouldn't be able to fathom. There are debts, promises he made, obligations he's trying to keep hidden from you. Debts? My voice rose, incredulity mixing with the panic swelling in my chest. What kind of debts? Not just financial, emotional, too, she whispered, her breath hitching. He's been torn, and I think he's trying to shield you from the storm he's been wading through. He loves you, but it's complicated because of the darkness he carries. You're caught in the crossfire of something he never chose to tell you. A pit opened deep inside me, each word unraveling threads I thought had woven us together. I wanted to storm away, to shake my fist at the shadows threatening to consume my heart. But something held me there, whether it was the flicker of compassion in Emily's eyes or the deep-sown need for truth. I wasn't sure. Why did you come back, then? I demanded, wrestling with the whirlwind of emotions threatening to throw me off balance. Why not just let him deal with this? Because I can't allow you to walk into a future that may be riddled with lies, she said, voice cracking under the weight of her emotions. If you love him enough to fight for him, you deserve to know the truth before you do. Liam loves me, I insisted, the defensive words laced with uncertainty as they poured out unbidden. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I will find out the truth from him, will you? She asked, and I felt the gravity of her frustration. He's good at keeping his past buried. But if you don't push, if you don't confront him, this will eat at you until it's too late. You can't save him without knowing what you're up against. The deep chill crept through the air as her words sank in, and the surrounding night felt alive, thrumming with impending change. The path forward lay obscured in uncertainty, threading only deeper into shadows where Liam's secrets lurked. Suddenly, my phone buzzed, shattering the tense moment. It was a message from an unknown number, unceremoniously yanking me back to reality. I glanced down, my stomach sinking as I read the single, chilling line, "It's time to choose." You need to come home, now. Who's that? Emily's brow furrowed, her eyes narrowing in sudden concern. "2 Don't know," I stammered, my heart racing again as the implications of the message wrapped around me like a vice. "Everything is connected. You need to end this between you and Liam before it spirals further out of control," she urged, her voice insistent. As the torment of the evening coiled tight around us, dread and uncertainty filled the space I once assumed was sturdy, the very ground beneath me trembling as the walls I built against darkness felt bound to crumble. "Will you listen to him?" Emily asked softly, her voice pressing against the tension with an unexpected kindness. I looked from her to the shadows surrounding me, conflict and hope intertwining painfully. I knew that this choice would define everything, but beneath that weight of doubt, tiny flickers of possibility stirred. Maybe I should, but I hesitated, knowing that whatever I chose now would cast ripples through both our lives. As I took a step closer to undivided darkness, the reality of betrayal loomed like a shroud. My phone buzzed again, the same message flashing ominously: "If you care about him, you need to come home now." Time stood still, the night pulsating with raw emotion and entangled fates. I stood at the precipice, the eerie weight of uncharted truths pulling at me like gravity itself. Now, more than ever, the decisions I made could either shatter my world or ignite a flame of hope, and with it the looming possibilities that could either heal or destroy my heart. The chill of the night air wrapped around me like a fog, each breath a sharp reminder of the weight pressing on my chest. I glanced at Emily, searching for something, any fragment of reassurance, but found only the reflection of my own turmoil, mirrored in her gaze. "What do I do?" I whispered, the vulnerability of my question spilling out into the darkness. "Trust yourself," she urged, a faint glimmer of empathy illuminating her features. "But be cautious. His secrets might shatter more than just your heart." The phone buzzed again, persistent and demanding. I could feel the urgency of the unknown caller tugging at the threads of my will. This was my decision, yet it felt like a noose tightening around my throat. Every instinct I had screamed at me to flee from this moment, to throw myself into the warmth of Liam's arms. Yet, the chilling potential of truth lay ahead, foggy but undeniable. What if I lose him? I breathed, fear clawing at the edges of my resolve. "Every path has a price," Emily said, her voice gentle, yet edged with urgency. "But living a lie is its own kind of cage." Tears threatened to spill over, the weight of her words stripping away the colorful illusion I had wrapped around my life with Liam. I thought I understood love, thought it was rooted in shared dreams and trust. But now it felt like stepping into a chasm, staring down into the unknown. Just as I gathered my semblance of courage, my phone jolted with a new message. "I'm outside. We need to talk, face to face." It was Liam. The sudden rush of relief mingled uneasily with imminent dread. "What do you want to do?" Emily asked, her expression softening as she recognized the conflict swirling within me. "I need to know the truth," I admitted, each word a fragile step forward. "I can't be in this limbo." "Then go," she urged, her own resolve solidifying. "You owe it to yourself to uncover what's real." I nodded, forcing my feet to move, the weight of the unknown anchoring me to the ground, a solid anchor in the chaos. I stepped back, tension radiating in every step toward the waiting darkness, unsure of whether I was wading toward light or deeper shadows. The path to my car felt surreal as the memories of our love flooded back, laughing together, shared secrets, the warmth of his hand enveloping mine. Each recollection was now a mixed brushstroke of joy and haunting doubt. As I slid into the driver's seat, the message from Emily echoed in my mind, reverberating like a distant drum. Would I emerge from this night whole, or utterly shattered? The engine roared to life, and suddenly the headlights pierced the darkness, illuminating the ghosts lingering in my soul. The drive felt eternal, my mind racing with possibilities, while a deep-seated fear gripped my heart. What would I find when I arrived? Would the truth be a balm to soothe the wounds, or a knife to cut deeper into the fabric of our lives? Each passing streetlight flickered like a fleeting heartbeat, reminding me time was slipping through my fingers. When I pulled up in front of our house, Liam was waiting just outside, silhouetted against the entrance like a lighthouse on a stormy night. Relief washed over me at the sight of him, but it mingled with an all-consuming dread. What was he hiding? Did he sense the tempest brewing within me? As I stepped out, the door creaked softly behind me, below the weight of uncertainty pressing heavy. Liam looked up, and in that moment, everything about him seemed radiant: his warm features, the gentle curve of his smile, but I could see the tension lacing his posture, the cautious flicker of something deeper behind his eyes. "Hey, there you are," he said, his voice like balm on a wound, yet lacking the warmth I so desperately craved. The heaviness in the air weighed upon us like the thickest of blankets. "Liam," I began, my voice wavering against the storm of emotion swirling within me. "We need to talk." His smile faltered, the light dimming in his expression, casting an anxious shadow that cradled the space between us. "I know, and I've been waiting for you to say something." With every heartbeat, the truth loomed like the gigantic storm clouds overhead, volcanic and disruptive, and I didn't know if I had the courage to face it. "I spoke to Emily," I continued, my voice shaky yet resolute. His eyes widened, flickering through an array of emotions too fast for me to catch. "You did?" "Yes," I pushed through the tumultuous wave spiraling within me. "She told me things about your past, about the debts." The admission felt raw, a jagged edge slicing through the pretense. "Please, let's just go inside," he urged, an urgency creeping into his tone that sent chills tingling down my spine. "No. Not until you face this. I need to understand what's really going on," I said, panic surging forth, emboldened by the truth I craved. "You can't keep hiding from me." "I wanted to protect you," he confessed, stepping closer, the earnestness in his eyes stirring something deep within me. "But I see now it was wrong. I wasn't ready." "Ready for what?" "Ready for me to know all of you?" My voice broke, the bitterness of his words coating my heart in a thin layer of ice. "I think you're already too late." The air crackled between us as truth ripped open the facade we had built, revealing flickers of shared memories and unfulfilled desires. Love was powerful, but the weight of deceit cast long shadows that threatened to smother every spark of hope. "I can't lose you," he breathed, desperation lining his features. "Just give me a chance to explain." Before I could respond, a sharp sound suddenly sliced through the night, a crisp crack of thunder, an omen of change that rattled my insides. The storm encroaching upon us felt prophetic, as if the heavens themselves were warning us of the tempest to come, and in that very moment, as raindrops began to swell in the air, I realized that the revelation Emily had ignited was only the beginning. My heart raced perilously as I caught Liam's eyes, the depth of what lay beneath promising truth yet shrouded in despair. "I don't know if I can trust you anymore, Liam," I confessed, each word a fragile thread in the tapestry of hope and fear, the storm above echoing my conflicting emotions. "Please, don't walk away," he implored, and I saw in his eyes a flicker of something raw and unguarded. "Maybe I need to," I whispered, the weight of my heart tipping toward heartbreak, just as the storm clouds broke open, torrents of rain spilling down, washing over us like the waves from a relentless sea. In that tempest, clarity and uncertainty danced amidst the turmoil and chaos, pushing each of us toward decisions that would echo through time. And as lightning clawed across the sky, illuminating the edges of our world and exposing the ungraspable truth fluttering in the shadows, I knew that futures twisted could either heal us or unravel every hope we had left to cling to. The rain fell in thick sheets, drenching everything in sight, its cacophony a symphony of emotion matching the chaos in my heart. I stood frozen, caught in the storm both outside and within. Liam's presence, usually a source of warmth, felt electrified, crackling in the cold air between us, every droplet intensifying the weight of our confessions. "I just need to know if there's something worth saving in this," I finally managed to say, barely audible over the rain's relentless heartbeat. Liam took a half-step forward, his clothes quickly becoming soaked, but the urgency in his eyes spoke volumes. "There is so much more to explain, things I never wanted you to find out this way. It's complicated." "Complicated?" I echoed, frustration spilling from my lips. "Life isn't just about protecting each other from the truth, Liam. It's about facing it together. What else are you hiding? He hesitated, the moment stretching and thickening like the clouds above us. I swear, I never meant to put you in danger. I thought I could handle it alone. Handle what alone? Your debts? Whatever darkness has been following you. What do I not know? My voice cracked, the fear of the unknown gnawing at my insides. He paused, the storm around us a fitting backdrop to our brewing tempest. I didn't want to burden you. It started as just business, and then I got way in over my head. I thought I could pay it back and save us from this. Protect this whatever we are. The truth felt like shards of glass in my throat, each word he uttered unraveling the intricate tapestry of our shared dreams. But that's not how love works. We're supposed to face things together. You've let me build my life only to pull the rug from underneath me. Please. He cried out, stepping closer, his voice rising against the drumming rain. I love you. I still do. But now I'm in deep with people that don't give a damn about our love. It's dangerous. I didn't want you involved. My heart twisted painfully, torn between the desire to comfort him and the weight of betrayal that throbbed in my chest. So what do you plan to do? Keep running? I just need more time. Time. It felt like a fragile thread ready to snap at any moment. I searched his eyes for signs of the man I had fallen in love with and not the shadow that loomed behind him. Time is the one thing we don't have. I can feel everything slipping away. The rain intensified, cascading down our skin as if it were the universe's way of washing away our delusions. And then I spotted it, a scrunched piece of paper peeking out from the wet ground, half-submerged an ambiguous fragment of communication that skittered into my line of sight. Curiosity pulled at me, the instinct to reach out overtaking me. I bent down, fingers trembling as I picked it up, the edges flimsy under my touch. What is that? Liam asked, glancing over apprehensively. I unfurled it, heart racing as words began to trail across the sodden paper. My breath caught in my throat as I read the lines, the implications unfurling like a horrid origami. This is a note from someone named Mark, I stammered, my voice hitching with disbelief. Shit. Liam's face drained of color as he snatched it from my hand, scanning the words quickly, horror shadowing his previously impassioned gaze. This isn't what it looks like. It says you owe them more than just money. It says they'll hurt the people you love if you don't pay by the end of the week. The chill of reality sank into my bones, the moment erupting into a boiling cauldron of despair. I thought I could handle it. He shouted back, anger flaring in his voice, panic feeding the fire. I never wanted you to know. A flash of lightning illuminated the scene, breaking through the darkness with its stark brightness, revealing the depth of the storm brewing between us. I took an instinctive step back, my heart beating a panicked rhythm against my ribs. So what now? You thought keeping me in the dark would protect me? You've put me in the very crosshairs of danger. Liam's shoulders slumped, his bravado crumbling under the weight of my words. The rain continued to fall, drenching our hopes, our fears, until we stood amidst a tempest of truths that threatened to drown us both. I'll fix this, he finally said, yet the words felt like flimsy promises thrown against a wall, too fragile to anchor us in reality. Just like you thought you could fix everything before? I shouted, my voice rising in desperation, the truth of the matter looming before us like a specter. What if this is too far gone, Liam? I need to know, are you fighting for this us or running from what's inevitably coming? He looked wounded as if the gravity of those final words pierced him. The tension between us pulsed with uncertainty, leaving me teetering on the edge of a chasm I wasn't sure I could cross. Whatever it takes, he murmured, and I watched as the light in his eyes flickered, vibrating with sincerity, yet uncertainty clung to him like the rain. But I might need your help. I shook my head, uncertainty roiling in my gut. How do I even know you're telling the truth now? Your secrets are just beginning to unfurl, because I've lost you in so many other ways, he confessed, his voice trembling, each word weighed down by vulnerability. I can't afford to lose you, too. But just as I felt the tightrope of hope build between us, another crack of thunder echoed, seemingly in response to our fragile confessions, and I braced myself as a realization washed over me like the pouring rain. Liam, if they come after you after us, my words trailed off, the sheer possibility sending ice flooding through my veins. I won't let that happen. But right then, in the depths of a violent storm, I knew no matter how much he vowed to protect me, we were already farther down a dark path than I had ever imagined, and shadows loomed heavily over the horizon. The storm outside mirrored the one brewing inside me, and as we stood drenched, truth laid bare, hearts bare, it hit me that neither of us might be able to endure the consequences. Just as I opened my mouth to speak, the distant faint blare of a horn echoed through the rain, primal and foreboding, hinting at a presence lurking outside our vulnerability. I turned, dread seeping into my bones as a car slowed at the end of the street, two figures stepping out into the rain, their faces obscured by shadows but carrying an air that spoke of danger. Liam, I whispered, a rush of impending fear curling low in my stomach. Who are they? As the pieces of our shattered reality spun around us like fractured glass, the revelation was edging closer, pulsing like a heartbeat in the shadows, demanding to be faced. And with it came the understanding that this chapter, this moment, was only the beginning of a far darker truth that threatened to consume us both. The rain did not relent as we stood there, suspended between the tumult of our doomed relationship and the impending threat drawn forth from the shadows. I could barely process what was happening. The figures at the end of the street seemed like puppets pulled into motion by fate's cruel hands, their intentions deliberately shrouded in the obscurity of the storm. Liam, I whispered again, panic lacing my voice. This time it came out sharper, an imploring plea to confront whatever dark reality was about to unfold. We need to go. Now. He didn't move, his eyes locked onto the figures that were advancing like avenging spirits. I felt the tremors of his fear resonate in the very air surrounding us. I need to know who they are, he said, resolve tethered to desperation. Why? So they can take you? Take us? I countered, a mix of indignation and urgent pleading. We can make a run for it. We can figure it out away from here. But Liam remained still, and I saw the internal conflict course through him, his desire to protect me but also to confront the ghosts of his past. No, he said finally, his voice steadier than I felt. It's time I take responsibility. Responsibility? By what? Throwing yourself to the wolves? My heart raced, the impending dread crushing down on me. The figures were closer now, their features sharpening from mere silhouettes into forms I recognized all too well. A jolt of realization coursed through me as recognition ignited fear. I could hardly breathe past the weight of that dread as Liam's eyes flickered with understanding. Mark, he muttered, the name falling from his lips like a curse. Confrontation hung heavy between us, the sky roaring as our past clawed its way into our present. Is that, I stammered, is that who I think it is? Liam's gaze remained fixed, his knuckles blanching as he balled his fists. He's one of them. He's the one I owe. But he's more than just a debt. He's involved in everything, he confessed. The admission was an avalanche, sending shockwaves through me. What do you mean everything? I almost couldn't bear to ask. Underworld dealings, threats, danger. The kind I tried to shield you from, he said, his voice trembling. But I see now that my silence only shielded myself, not you. A chilling wind swept through us, the rain continuing to batter down as I processed his words. My heart dropped, understanding dawning upon me like the bitter taste of betrayal. All the signs had pointed to a deeper reality, and I had been blissfully unaware. As Mark and his companion drew near, I felt the aura of danger clinging to them. You made worse choices than I thought, he called out, voice smooth yet menacing, cutting through the torrential downpour like a knife. Thought you could worm your way out of things without consequences, huh, Liam? Stay back, Liam warned, stepping instinctively in front of me, a futile gesture to protect the woman he had inadvertently put in harm's way. Too late for that, Mark chuckled, his laughter eerie as it twisted with the rain. You can't protect her now. She's in deeper than you think. All your lies have a way of coming back, don't they? Those words struck like a physical blow, each syllable permeating into the stormy shelter of our reality. I glanced at Liam, our eyes converging where trust and uncertainty collided. What does he mean? I demanded, steadying my breath against the tempest of emotions surging through me. Just stay back, Liam repeated, his voice hoarse, frantic. I'll do whatever I have to. Mark stepped closer, his figure now clear through the cascading rain. You're too late, Liam. They aren't just after your money, they want to set an example. The barrage of his implications hit with unyielding force, the threatening tone underscoring an unsettling truth. Who? I gasped, blurred lines of fear and anger mingling in my throat. What have you gotten us into? Mark smiled, an unsettling gesture in the rainy night. Say hello to your new reality. I hope you like surprises. Liam turned back to me, desperation glazing his eyes as he grabbed my arms. Don't listen to him. None of this should concern you, but the truth wriggled close, like a parasite, and I felt the walls around us tightening, heart racing with dread. No. Liam. What have you done? Tell me enough. Mark shouted, a sudden edge slicing through the rain. You were always a distraction, Liam. You could have saved yourself, and still, you brought her into this mess. Now it's your turn to choose your life, or hers. The weight of his threat slapped the breath from my lungs, and as much as I wanted to push back against the onslaught of chaos, I was frozen, trapped in the web of his cruel invitation to desperation. The realization that everything we had been through might spiral into unfathomable depths coalesced around us, darkening the horizon further. Liam, my voice cracked, the fear threatening to consume every ounce of reason. I could see our life together flicker on the brink of extinction, with shadows lurking hungrily for a chance to pounce. Flee. We have to get out of here. But before we could react, Mark motioned, and from behind him stepped another figure, a woman with silver hair slicked back against the rain, her features distorted under the downpour yet unmistakably familiar. No, my heart dropped, and I felt the world shift beneath me. Hope shattered, crashing into despair as bitter memories flooded back. Not her, not you, and with that, every secret lying buried in the trench of the past unearthed itself, unveiling a connection I never anticipated, a connection that threatened to dismantle everything I thought I knew. The rain continued its relentless assault, drenching the ground around us as the world transformed into a bruised shade of gray. I felt the icy touch of realization creep under my skin, settling in the depths of my heart as if a ghost had brushed past me. The woman standing beside Mark wasn't just someone from Liam's past, she was Eleanor, my closest friend, whose very existence had once felt like a safe harbor. Now, her presence seemed to cast a shadow so large it engulfed any semblance of light left between Liam and me. Eleanor, I breathed, disbelief tightening the catch in my throat. What are you doing with him? Liam's grip on my arms tightened, his knuckles white against my skin. You don't understand, he started, but the words tangled in his throat as he stumbled over the reality crashing down around us. The question is, what are you doing with him? Eleanor interrupted, her tone deceptively calm, the flicker of something unsettling dancing in her eyes. You think you can disappear into the oblivion of normalcy, Liam? You've dragged all of us into thishes, just the man who's willing to ensure you pay the price. My mind raced to process the layers of betrayal. How long had this been happening? Why didn't I see it before? My heart felt like it was shattering under the weight of every confiding moment I had ever shared with Eleanor, the layers of trust crumbling like ancient ruins under a sudden storm. Eleanor, please, I pleaded, wanting to connect, to reach for that semblance of camaraderie that had once lit the darkest corners of our lives. Help us. Help him. She laughed, an empty, hollow sound that echoed in the storm, intertwining malevolence with veiled truths. You don't get it, do you? There is no way out for him that doesn't involve dragging you deeper into this mess. This isn't just some petty dispute, this is war. I didn't want this. Liam's voice broke like the thunder. I just wanted a different life for you, for us. I wanted to protect you. Protect? By pushing me away? By hiding your choices? I threw back, stung by the very accusation laced in his words. That hasn't protected me. It's left me in the dark, and now I'm standing here on the precipice of a decision I never even knew existed. Mark stepped forward, his expression gleeful at our turmoil. Oh, this is rich. You all make me want to pop popcorn and watch the show unfold. He turned to me, deceitful charm coating his words like molasses. You're in a real bind now, my dear. Poor little sheep caught between two wolves. Which one will you choose? Loyalty to your husband, who's already failed you, or the woman who's danced with the dark side? Eleanor's eyes flickered, a brief glimmer of uncertainty masking the storm brewing beneath. It's true, Brielle. You deserve to know the whole truth. Liam isn't just entangled in this mess, he is the very reason there is a mess. He's made enemies, dangerous ones. No. I shot back, tears mingling with the rain. You can't mean that. There has to be a way to fix this. We can find a way out. In that moment, it was as if the world held its breath, time suspended amidst the chaos. Liam stepped forward, breaking the silence, his expression resolute. Brielle, whatever happens, I will protect you. No matter the cost. But Mark laughed cruelly. See, there's the rub, Liam. At this point, the protection he offers may cost her everything. Are you prepared for that? Enough. Liam yelled, desperation coursing through him. All of this needs to stop right now. Brielle, get away from him. But as he spoke, Eleanor sidled closer to Mark, her gaze sharp. What if there's another way, Liam? One that doesn't leave her paying the ultimate price. Every word she uttered felt like poison seeping into the very air I breathed. What do you mean? I asked, confusion bubbling to the surface, battling against the raw emotion that surged within me. Eleanor looked at me, an unexpected kindness glimmering amid the storm of chaos as she possibly weighed the consequences of her next move. There are choices to be made. Risks to take. If we can leverage some of the connections I have, Eleanor. Liam cut in, disbelief and fury swirling behind his eyes, but she held up a hand, silencing him. This is bigger than us. You know it. She turned back to me, her tone more conciliatory, imbued with a hint of sympathy. But the choices I'm willing to make might not be one you ever want to accept. And in that moment, a sliver of hope sparked in the deepest corners of my heart. But it was immediately eclipsed by the rising darkness of doubt. My world, which had already fractured under secrets and lies, teetered on the brink of something deeper and darker, leaving me standing in the storm's eye, where foolish hope glinted but danger loomed. Then, without warning, a light flickered behind me, not the natural glow of the storm, but the piercing steadiness of headlights. A vehicle appeared at the end of the street, tires splashing through the rain. I felt a foreboding dread wash over me, wrapping around my being like shadows creeping from the corners of my mind. Brielle, Liam's voice echoed, a sense of urgency igniting his words. We need to move. But just as the realization hit, the headlights blared brighter, revealing a familiar face gripped by equal measures of fear and determination. My brother, Daniel, stepping out of the vehicle, eyes locked onto me. What the hell is going on? He demanded, his presence shifting the dynamics, the tension tightening like a drum. And suddenly, the fragile strands we'd woven to rely on began to fray, the storm outside burgeoning into an unpredictable frenzy, and my heart hammering in sync with the chaos that threatened to engulf us. My world had turned upside down, and now with both Liam's and Eleanor's pasts crashing into reality, I stood teetering on the edge of choices that could change everything for better or for worse. The rain continued to pour like a waterfall crashing against jagged rocks, as Daniel hurried toward me, his face contorted with concern. I could barely meet his gaze, sensing the weight of channels of reality flowing in every direction, too fragmented to comprehend. Brielle. His voice was a beacon, pulling me from the darkness swirling around my mind. What's happening? Are you okay? I wanted to scream, to let the torrent of emotion spill forth, but the presence of Liam and Eleanor, now a part of my dangerously twisted reality, left me voiceless. I could feel their eyes on me, calculating, assessing, as if I were a pawn in a game far greater than any I'd ever known. Leave her alone. Liam snapped at Daniel, his protective instinct surging forth once more. This is dangerous, dangerous? It was like oil added to fire, each moment escalating as Eleanor sneered. This whole situation is beyond dangerous, Liam. What have you dragged us into? Enough. I finally broke free, my voice cutting through the noise laced with a desperate clarity I hadn't expected. Enough of this. I don't understand. I don't want to be a part of this war. I'm just trying to figure out what's real. Daniel stepped closer, tension radiating between the group like static electricity. Brielle, we need to get you out of here. This isn't a game, it's life or death. I felt myself slipping away, drowning in that suffocating sea of uncertainty. I turned to Liam, searching for solace in the clarity of his gaze, but found only shadows of regret and tangled emotions. Liam, please, it's not safe for you here, he said, raw desperation framing his words. If I could what? I interjected, the flood of pent-up emotions crashing over me like the relentless rain. Take me away from all of this? What if it just leads us down a darker road? Suddenly, Eleanor shifted, her scheming demeanor momentarily giving way to something almost vulnerable. Brielle, listen to me. You might think that my ties to this world are shallow, but they run deep. She turned, and for the first time I saw the glimmer of her humanity beneath the bravado. You deserve to know what's truly at stake. There are forces at play that neither of you can begin to comprehend, but enough with the games. Daniel interrupted, his voice rising with urgency. You're either with us or against us, Eleanor. The tension tightened. It was a mistake to volley those words back to her. In that heartbeat, I feared she would choose the dark side, choose to deepen the rift between us rather than seek to bridge it. I needed her understanding, but I also needed to feel safely, a wisp of hope emerging against the backdrop of chaos. Eleanor, if you know something, if you truly want to help us, tell us. I shouted above the rising din of the storm. Please. For a split second, silence encompassed us, the thunder dissipating to a distant murmur, as Eleanor's gaze bore into mine, her blue eyes reflecting the turmoil of the sky above. If I tell you, the choice may very well land you in a place where innocence is no longer an option. I felt Liam shift beside me, his presence a counterbalance, a tether to sanity amidst the storm raging around us. He reached out, his hand finding mine, grounding me in an unforgiving moment. Brielle, whatever you choose, we face it together. Brielle, Eleanor whispered, her voice softening. There are parts of this story that will shake everything you believe about the ones you love. You're stronger than you think, but you need to accept that there may be choices you won't agree with. Choices that suddenly, another sound pierced the atmosphere, sharp and unforgiving like a bullet shattering glass. The shrill echo of sirens grew nearer, slicing through the stillness, pulling me from this fragile truce into a reality so critical it sent ice through my veins. Liam's grip tightened instinctively, panic slicing through our moment of connection. They're here, his voice dropped to a whisper, urgency replacing calm. We need to go. But before I could react, a figure emerged from the shadows behind Daniel, a silhouette draped in the security of authority, his face obscured by the rain-soaked fabric of an unforgiving world. Brielle, the voice roared, deep, but strained with tension. You're coming with me. I stood paralyzed, caught between the reckless abandon of my brother's protective instincts and the unpredictable allegiance of Eleanor and Liam. This was my choice, my battlefield, the weight of which sunk into the marrow of my being as fear eclipsed hope. Daniel turned to me, desperation etched into his features. Brielle, please. Trust me. But trust was an elusive entity. In the shadows of truth and chaos, new loyalties beckoned, and as the storm raged on around us, with twisting emotions and uncertain futures flooding the space in between, I faced the gravest question of all: could I reclaim my life, or had I already lost it forever? The lights flashed once again, and in that moment of hesitation, the sirens rose to a deafening crescendo. The darkness around me felt suffocating as the ominous weight of impending choices loomed, and I realized that every second was one that could unravel everything I thought I knew. The sirens blared, the lights flashed, and suddenly, time warped around me. I could feel all the threads of my life, the threads of love, betrayal, and uncertainty tightening until they became a noose, suffocating the very air I breathed. I looked from Daniel to Liam, then to Eleanor, standing at the crossroads of my own making, hearts poised like pendulums between loyalty and the truth. I swallowed hard, trying to catch my breath amidst the barrage of emotion swirling in my chest. The figure advancing toward us possessed an authority, an energy that felt suffocating, demanding my attention and compelling me to take action. My decisions had brought us here. I was at the nexus point of a story I didn't know how to write. Brielle. The authoritative voice was laced with desperation. Come with me. We need to get you to safety now. I searched Daniel's eyes desperately, seeking reassurance in the overwhelming storm around us. But there, amidst the chaos, I felt something shift irrevocably in my heart. A realization glimmered beneath the surface. I had found my anchor, the roots of my truth. Wait. I called, my voice rising above the